It's time for Tubi Tuesday. Hello and welcome to Tubi Tuesday, where we are looking at a video game adaptation film, Double Dragon. And so this was part of was supposed to be a 3-week video game adaptation thing for Tubi Tuesday. And last week, I did the cabin fever stuff, so I had to take a break from that. Well, we're back on it this week and next week, and as a little note, I am pre-recording next week's episode today, so I gotta watch the next movie right after this. So let's go on with Double Dragon, based on a video game I played a lot as a kid. I used to go to the arcades, and I believe there's some version for Super Nintendo. Maybe it was like a classics or something. I don't know, but I do remember playing on the Super Nintendo 2. We had it, and of course I watched the animated series, which was awesome. And so, the movie. The basic plot of the video game is girl gets kidnapped, 2 brothers go after her, beat up thugs, they have powers or something, they either wear red or blue, and you go off, and you can have 2 players, you can have 1 player, but you don't get to choose your player, because if you play one, you're just the blue one, which is Billy. Jimmy is the red one. So, or Bimmy and Jimmy as the video games go. Yes, I do watch Angry Video Game Nerd, and yes, if you do watch it, you get the joke, Bimmy and Jimmy. So, the film has to take that story and extend it, but also because it's a video adaptation. It's an adaptation, because it's a film adaptation of a video game, they have to screw it up. They can't always tell the exact story because that would make too much sense. So, what we have here is 2 brothers, Billy and Jimmy, who are fighting this bad guy played by Robert Patrick, and they have one half of the Double Dragon medallion, which I don't know if that's in the video game, but I know it's in the animated series. Maybe the animated series is based off of this. I don't know. And they have to find the other half, which Robert Patrick has. So it's kind of a fight for both sides. So, there's your story. And so we start with Robert Patrick narrating a story about an ancient Chinese general emperor guy sacrificing himself to create the Double Dragon medallion and then splitting in half and giving it to his sons, and they separate, and so now this medallion is in the possession of Satori, who is the sister, mother, guardian person of Billy and Jimmy, who are brothers, played by Scott Wolf and Mark Dacascos. Yes, if you remember correct, Mark Dacascos is Asian. Scott Wolf is not. How are they brothers? I mean, they could have explained it. If Satori was actually their sister, and that Billy was adopted, or their mother was white. Because obviously Billy is younger than Jimmy, because Mark Dacascos is older than Scott Wolf. But they don't explain it. They're just brothers, because even back then, they didn't know how to cast characters in the right ethnicity. But, yeah. Also, Jimmy was blonde in the video game, and all of a sudden, he's not. Just saying. So, yes, and our villain is Koga Shuko, which is a Japanese name. And if you remember, I say he's played by Robert Patrick. He's white. But they do explain it, that his real name is Geisman. Something Geisman. So he's white, he just changed his name to Koga Shuko. Why? Because he thinks it sounds badass or something? I don't know. And so, we live in a futuristic world of 2007 in a place called New Angeles, which I thought was like fusion of New York and Los Angeles, which doesn't make any sense because they're not right next to each other. And maybe it was New Jersey and none it doesn't make any sense. New Mexico and all that, it just doesn't make any sense. But it turns out it's just New Angeles, because it's a new version of Los Angeles where everything is flooded because there was a great earthquake, which they always say is coming to California, but who knows? And now it's like post-apocalyptic everywhere. Buildings in ruins, things are flooded. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. And there are gangs that come out every night. And they wait until it's night. Because gangs have morals. And they have to wait until it's night to come out. Well, they do explain there's some kind of truce where the gangs get the night when there's a curfew. And then the regular people get during the day. But they're gangs. Why would they uphold that? It just doesn't make any sense. The truce is broken by Shuko, Robert Patrick, so that they can catch Billy and Jimmy. And at a certain point, you're wondering, when does the girl get kidnapped and how are they going to come after her? Well, the girl they have with them is not the girl from the video games. That's Satori, whatever. She dies in an explosion because they live in a rundown movie theater. I could do that right over there. But it explodes because Shuko blows it up. Also, they're chased by a gang called the Mohawks, led by a guy named Bobo. Yes, that is his real name. And one of the guys is Gary from Weird Science, the movie one, not the TV one. No, the TV one, not the movie one. Gary, was it John Mallory Asher? He was in the TV one, the TV Gary. Yeah, he's one of the Mohawks, and then later in the film he has like an eye patch thingy, which I don't know how that happened. And Bobo is now working for Robert Patrick, and they gotta get this part of the other half of the medallion, and there's this hot ninja chick working for him. And did they change actresses? Because like when they show her at the beginning, she looks totally different from the rest of the film. It's very weird. Maybe they came back and did the beginning. I don't know. But like it starts off somewhere in China. And that's not me just saying somewhere in China because I don't know. They say that somewhere in China in the information subtitles there. So eventually, Billy and Jimmy decide they have to get help from the Power Corps, which is led by Marion, played by Alyssa Milano. And if you're Boy Meets World fans, you'll get that. I'm watching Boy Meets World with my son right now. We're watching some stuff on Disney Plus. Perry King's So Weird. I will do reviews for those in December, so look for those. But we're watching Boy Meets World now, and we just got to season 2 in the episode Marion. So that's what made me laugh when she popped up. And they're like, "Shut up, Marion!" And I'm like, "Marion." But yes, and she has a blonde hair, and she wears a wig around her dad. And for some reason, I forgot about the dad subplot. That her dad was a police chief. I forgot a lot about this movie. I watched this movie like 2 or 3 times before this, and I forgot about that. Every time, apparently. So, you go for them to help, and they decide to break in, get it, but she wants to get revenge on him, and they want the medallion, so they want to split up, but they don't, because then Billy tries to use a magnet thing that's not a very strong magnet, but he keeps trying to do it, and of course, Ninja Lady, she figures it out. They get knocked down, and they try to escape. But Jimmy is left behind, and oh no, he might be dead. Who knows? But no, because that guy, Robert Patrick, is taking over his body, and there's a showdown. And then he gets out of his body, and they have this fight. There's also some scenes with a bunch of gang, and all the gangs are now together. And the truce is over, and they fight in the daytime just to get Billy and Jimmy. They're decent fight scenes, but they're just in there to pad the runtime. Because it seems like every time the plot gets going, gangs show up, time to fight. That's what it seems like. There's like 3 or 4 gang fight scenes in this film, and it feels like just as the plot's getting going again, fight. You know, and then the climax has the gang showing up and fighting in the Power Corps headquarters, and then there's Shuko shows up, and he uses both medallions to turn into two ninja guys for some reason. I don't know, but they get it away from him and he's back to normal. And then they put it together and they get the red and blue geese. And then the double dragon, and then the movie goes for me. You think that this would be the kick-ass, all these stupid-ass gang fight scenes throughout the film is leading to this, a fight between the good guys and the bad guys. Well, if you're paying the good guys and the bad guys, pay attention to the film. Every time that they do fight Shuko, he's in someone else's body. Because Robert Patrick can't stunt fight. And it's not like they could get a stuntman for him. They don't know, they couldn't afford that. So they just have him in another people's bodies. And then when it's time for the big fight, he gets his ass kicked and is played for the laughs. Like, they kick his ass and then Jimmy takes over his body. And when the police chief comes in, he goes, "All right, you a check for $1 million, whatever." And then, like, arrest me. And it's just like, this is supposed to be a fight, you know? You know, think of the other video game adaptations that had, you know, Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung versus Liu Kang. Good fight, right? Guile versus M. Bison. Good fight. So you're ready for a showdown, and they play it for laughs. And then they end with laughs, or supposedly, because Bobo shows up, mutated, because they mutated him earlier. And he's like, "Well, can I drive?" And Jimmy thinks it's Billy, even though Billy's part of the coin, takes over the mind, not the body, because that's what they explain. One takes over the mind, one takes over the body. So Jimmy has the one that takes over the body. Billy can't do that. Yet he thinks Billy's inside of him. And then they do the joke where he pops up and says, "Huh?" And they're like, "Ah!" And it ends. It's like they forgot their own rules here. One takes over the mind, one takes over the body. Even if Billy took over his mind, he wouldn't jump into the person's body because that's what the body one does. This movie was all over the place. There was a point where I think I must have blinked and missed 20 minutes of the film. I had to rewind it to before the climax just to figure out what was going on, because all of a sudden I blinked and it was the end of the film and I'm like, wait, what hold on. Huh? What did I miss? I turned around for 5 minutes. What? So I rewound it back to the climax and I watched it again and I got it that time. This movie is, I don't think it's horrible. But it's a good example of why video game movies don't work. You can't, for some reason, they refuse to adapt the actual video game plots. Like Super Mario Brothers. Or Street Fighter. No, Tournament. Right? Super Mario Brothers. You think about it, a girl getting kidnapped, and then two heroes have to come after her. That's Super Mario Brothers. And they had a chance to do that twice with two video games with the same plot, and they didn't do it either time. And Marion is supposed to be the one that gets kidnapped in the video games, but this was the 90s, and we gotta have a strong female, strong female character in movies. Now it's gone too overboard. Back then, it was a new kind of thing, and Melissa Milano was a good actress for that, although she's not very good in this film. And honestly, Mark Dacascos and Scott Wolf aren't taking this seriously at all, and you can tell. You can tell from every bit of their acting, they don't give a shit. Robert Patrick gives the best performance in the film, and even he's not taking it seriously. I'm telling you, this is a wacky film, and I almost recommend it. I think I'm going to have to give it a 6 out of 10, though. It's not a very good film. They need to start adapting films adapting video game movies by the actual plot of the video game. It's not. If you're thinking, oh, but that's plagiarism. Well, you can adapt most of the plot. You can change a few things. Just don't, like, for instance, when I saw the trailer for Sonic the Hedgehog, when I saw I was another one of those stupid teleporting from one world to another things, and he's animated, everyone else isn't, I went, why do we have to keep doing these things? With the Smurfs, we did it with stuff in the 90s. We don't need to do that. Now, that ended up being a good movie, but it's not a direct adaptation. You know? I know that in Sonic X, he was in the human world, but still. I don't know. Then you should have adapted Sonic X. But that's not a video game, that's an anime. It's different. Yeah, this gets a 6 out of 10 for me. And, so, that's one down. Next is another video game adaptation of a video game I've actually haven't played as much as Double Dragon, but I have played a little bit of. What is that? You'll have to wait and see next week. Till then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Leave in the comments below what you think of Double Dragon, the movie. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.